Geoffrey Kabasavis is a Vice President of Political Studies, Niskanen Center, is joining us live from Washington, D.C. Mr. Kabasavis, thank you very much for talking to us and joining us at this hour. I'll just go straight to it. Yesterday, Donald Trump stamped his authority. He indicated that he's back. And there are so many people who paid attention to his executive orders, one of them being the Paris Agreement that he wants America to be out of, and the other one is the World Health Organization. He wants America to also be out of the World Health Organization. And now there is NATO. How committed is Donald Trump with NATO?
Well, it's good to be back with you, Eric. And yes, this is the beginning of Trump 2.0. And here in Washington, there is both exhilaration and trepidation about what's to come. Trump, I think, issued 46 executive orders last night, as well as a number of other actions, such as that sweeping pardon of virtually all of the January 6th rioters that you had mentioned. You know, it's still to be determined how Trump will respond to NATO. Trump declaring that he was withdrawing from NATO or failing to abide by its principle of collective defense would be a major step of the kind that he hasn't even yet taken yet, as momentous as some of those actions have been. Mr.
Kabasavis, should regions like West Asia and now Ukraine be worried? Because we have the Ukrainian president, Volodymyr Zelensky, who was just talking to participants at the World Economic Forum in Davos, and he actually did mention that he's not very sure about the US's commitment to the NATO, and he's not very sure if Trump will support his entry to the NATO. How do you think that will pan out?
You know, I think Trump is both taking credit as a peacemaker, as with the resolution, or at least the ceasefire with Israel and Hamas in Gaza, but also positing a new vision of a different kind of global order than what we've had since the end of World War II. Donald Trump seems to be reverting to almost a 19th century view of great powers, which each have their spheres of influence, which they mutually respect. But within those spheres, they're free to do what they want. And this would appear to be a reversion to a kind of world where the strong do what they can and the weak suffer what they must. And what I think Donald Trump gets wrong is that this global order has immensely benefited America. It has not been America getting ripped off by the world, even as this order has been broadly beneficial to much of the rest of the world, too. One might even compare the post-1945 settlement to what the Treaty of Westphalia did for Europe, but applied to the whole world. It's given a stable basis on which to create genuine global prosperity. And I think Trump is putting this all at risk if he genuinely believes that America should go back to that earlier 19th century's vision of global order.
What about the relationship between the United States and Europe? Because we saw the headlines in some European countries which were not very favorable towards Trump. It's actually, they feared that Trump is really not that good of a leader when it comes to relationship with Europe.
I mean, Trump has had troubled relationships with other European leaders, most notably Angela Merkel, who was, as head of Germany, probably the leader of that bloc for some time. Trump doesn't think much of Europe generally, and part of what he's doing is asserting America's independence from Europe and its politics. On the other hand, you know, we have seen in Europe, most European countries, a real revival of a kind of populism which is anti-immigration and nativist, for which Trump can arguably be seen as the global leader now. So in that sense, it's popular that Trump's relationships could get better with Europe as groups like the AfD and other similar organizations and parties increasingly prosper in Europe.
All right, Mr. Geoffrey Kabasavis, it's always good to have you with us on this show. Thank you for talking to us today.
Thank you.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.